All right, everybody, I'm going to show you how to pull the graph off of the 1080 test. So we go into the client, so you pull the client up, find their station, and I'm going into the tall kneeling chop. And here we just have the raw data. So what you'll see is these empty slots under the numbers down here. There's an empty slot. We want to get rid of those. Delete that out. And then I get rid of that first rep because that first rep is always them just trying to get into position. All right, so now I look at my data and I choose the highest, or I choose the lowest number, and I choose the highest number for each of these bar graphs. So looks like 36.8 was the lowest and 41.8 was the highest. Get rid of those reps. We are just trying to get rid of the outliers. So from there, I want to make sure that all my data points are correct before I graph this. So this over here, it says power. And I'm not looking at power. This isn't a power test. This is a strength test. So I go under force. That's awesome. And now I want to know the average of my force. If you were doing a power, you would want to know the peak number for your power. But when we're working with force and average strength, we're going for average. We want to make sure that show averages are on, show average left to right differences is clicked on, and show distances time is clicked on. So these are all the settings that we're looking for, and we wanted to make sure that it's in concentric mode. So everything there looks good. Over here, you'll see all of these change here. So we've got yellow is left and green or gray is the right side of the body. So you see that there's a 15% difference in strength from left to right in a tall kneeling position. So this is something that I would definitely address. This top number here, 1.12 meters, is how long the cable turned. I ideally want to see them close to each other, so that's good because left versus right, they're quite similar. This number under here, 4.08, 3.88 is time under tension. And ideally we want to be around 3.5 seconds. So she, on the left side here, she had more time under tension as well. So it was definitely weaker, and that was demonstrated with how long it took her to complete each repetition. And then right here is her average strength in newtons. So we have 86.5 newtons and we have 102 newtons on the other side. We want to see that level out over time. So now I want to plot the graph. So I'm going to highlight all the reps, and then I will click this little eyeball over here, and it's going to plot everything that we just did. So you'll see here when she's about 3/4 of the way through this range of motion, she tails off. So a lot of that tells me about her her thoracic rotation ability, or where she's rotating from, and she's losing strength there. Usually if someone doesn't have good T-spine rotation, or if it's coming from their low back, you'll see that. And we see that here, and you'll also see that reflected in how short the cable was when she was turning, for her arm length especially. You'll also see that several of her reps, they were quite weak versus how they were on the other side. We do want to see kind of a nice line going across. So I love that it's pretty flat to a certain point, and then it does drop off. If we see this really big bell curve, that's not so great, right? That means that we are really strong in the middle of our range, but we're not very strong through any of the rest of the ranges of motion there. So that's something to address. And I like that that it's pretty, the line itself is pretty smooth. Sometimes you'll see a whole bunch of jaggedy up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So what that means is the client is engaging and then they're losing their engagement. They're engaging and they're losing their engagement. So if they have 3.88 seconds time under tension, for those 3.88 seconds, they are not able to maintain a contraction the entire time, which is something that we need to work on. It tells us we need to build up their endurance within their training. And also it tells me a lot about their neurological input. If it's really jaggedy up and down, up and down, up and down, there's some sort of neurological input that is preventing them from getting a nice line. So in general, that's how we're gonna edit the graphs once they are done. And so now I want to be able to screenshot this. There's no way to export this data nicely, unfortunately. So then I come over to this little tablet over here, and my cursor just bounces from one screen to the next. I put in my search bar snipping tool, and then it'll populate this little screen here. So then I'll click new, And then I can bring my cursor back over here and it gives me that little X, and I like to get their name, the name of the test, the date, just so that all that information is in screen all the way down to that corner, and it will screenshot it. And it comes back over here, and now I can save it. So if I click this little save button up here in the corner, it will pop up, usually to right where I have other things saved. And I'll always save with their last name first. So Krug, and then the name of the exercise. So tall, kneeling. And I like to insert the date just so I have that also. So 2.2.26 for that test, and I click save. So that's how we save those tests. Then we need to log into your email address from the tablet, and you search for where you saved it in the screenshot section. You attach it to an email and you send it to whoever needs it. So that is how you pull these off of the 1080.